A very good evening and welcome to Eswatini TV's 8 p.m. news broadcast with Nondobego Nzapkelogo. Let's take a look at tonight's headlines. The Prime Minister Ambrose Dlamini says government's goal is to uplift the economy and create an enabling environment for businesses to thrive. The Imbali regiment from the Eswatini region smiled from ear to ear when their majesties presented them with meat hampers. The Ministry of Health has outlined the COVID-19 travel guidelines for those exiting and entering into the kingdom. The news in detail. The Prime Minister Ambrose Dlamini says His Majesty's government's goal is to uplift the economy and ensure an enabling environment for businesses in Eswatini to thrive by the time their term in office ends. The Prime Minister was speaking during the launch of the Eswatini Trade Information Portal at the SRA head offices in Zulwini.
The Prime Minister Ambrose Dlamini has officially launched the Eswatini Trade and Information Portal, which is aimed at promoting an environment of trade and importing and exporting of goods in a much simpler and easier way. Launching the trade, the Prime Minister says the Eswatini government's goal is to uplift the economy, and by the time their term of office comes to an end, they would have sustained more businesses and created an enabling environment and market Eswatini in other countries.
Limits movement of persons from one place to the other. The portal concept was born out of a need to make all trade regulatory information easily and readily accessible to the business community, both in Eswatini and beyond our borders. This trade information portal that we are launching today aims to close the information divide between large businesses and small, medium, and micro enterprises, in accordance with the aspirations of the government strategic roadmap and the post-COVID-19 recovery plan that we launched recently. It is a key step towards a simpler, faster, and lower cost trade facilitation environment where small or big, national or international businesses would have equal access to regulatory information available in a single integrated website.
Other speakers included the Commissioner General of the Revenue Authority, Dumisani Maslela, who encouraged cooperation amongst all stakeholders. The Minister of Commerce, Mangoba Kumalo, urged all Maswati to make use of the portal, which has been designed to assist them to trade better in a simpler and more dynamic way. The portal is already up and running. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Kian MCB, Zulwini.
The Imbali regiment from the Eswatini region smiled from ear to ear today when their majesties sent a delegation to present them with meat hampers. The gift was previously announced by their majesties when a limited number of Madians delivered reed at Lutzitsini royal residence 3 weeks ago. The delegation visited chiefdoms across the region.
The delegation, which was led by the Minister of Home Affairs, Princess Lindiwe, was commissioned by their majesties to deliver meat hampers to regiments in all chiefdoms in the region. Implementing royal commands calls for a multi-stakeholder approach, and in ensuring this, the minister worked with the relevant stakeholders and the Eswatini Regional Administrator, Dr. Vincent Mhlanga, especially because their majesties stated clearly that all members of the regiment would receive the hampers. The regiment received the gift with excitement and a thankful heart, and all COVID-19 safety protocols were followed during the presentation of the hampers. The minister has praised their majesties for their generosity.
Siyabona ukuthi inkosi ivele iyasithanda sive sayo. Sibona ngale tento tawo le tenta ukuthi ibakhumbule labantwana noMrs Godlweni noma ihleti ngekhathi esigodlweni ibe ikhumbula ukuthi kunetintombi kunembali lebekufanele singabe beyikhona la kaNgwane nga-August nanga-September kepha bangakhoni. Ngeja ngekuthanda bantu bayo inkosi isesigodlweni yavele yakucabanga kwafika kuyo ukuthi ayihambi bamikisele lokudla le lapho bakhona khona.
Induna Mbali Nonduduzo Zubuko says the gift has energized the regiment to proudly showcase the majesty of Eswatini culture to the entire world.
Kuyakhomba ukuthi amakhosi asithanza asikhathalela imihla nemalanga ahlala acabanga ngathi silibutho lembali. Siyadumisa kakhulu nje sikhutalandla sicede sithi bayethwena phakathi. Sibonga imakhosi lokuhlala inhlitiyo yayo ihlale ikithi. Lokukhomba kona ukuthi leli vele liliseta ukhosa. Kudzela liyakhona nasisole amakhosi abambisene nemhlaba abambisene nebantu lababukile kukhomba lona ukuthi kukhulu la siyakhona singemaswati. Sitawuqhubeka futhi sibe bomabukwase emhlabeni wonke njengoba kwatiwa ukuthi Eswatini livele lithulile futhi sitawuqhubeka ngale nhlonipho yethu nalokubamba lamasiko. Simbali amaswati, simbali amaswati, sazile sayinqobe COVID. The delegation is expected to proceed to other regions. On the news, I'm Sandila Makanya reporting with Zwele Masuku in the Shiselweni region.
The Minister for Health, Lizingosi, has outlined the COVID-19 travel guidelines known as the Travel Advisory, which aims at ensuring COVID-19 compliance for people who will be going outside of the country and those entering into the kingdom. The minister was speaking during a press conference that was held at the Cabinet offices.
Speaking during a press conference, the Minister of Health, Lizingosi, has announced the travel COVID-19 guidelines known as the COVID Travel Advisory, which aims at ensuring that COVID compliance for those who will be going out of the country as well as those who will be entering the kingdom. As part of the guidelines, one is expected to produce results or a certificate of COVID-19 with negative results not older than 72 hours.
Ukuthi kudingeka ukuthi ube nesitifiketi lesikhombisako ukuthi utestiwe iCovid, le certificate sakho sikhombise ukuthi le test yakho uyende nganeno kwama hour lang 72. Lawo bantu labangenako even utas na ufika lapha eborder sakuscreena na sicheke ukuthi i-certificate sakho se-COVID singaneno kwa 72 hours. Nangabe kunjani utest khona lapho eborder, nangabe unemkhuhlane sikubeka eceleni sikuteste ngale test lesisebenzisako yokutesta COVID, noma nangabe kunesidingo uhambe uye ku quarantine. Nangabe certificate sakho sikahle singaneno kwa 72 hours awuna timpawu konke kumenge mumo utawuchubeka uhambe uye ekhaya. Labaphumako ke even ikakhulu labatawuphumela njengasiyabekisa lamabhoda lamanengi lesikhulume ngawo aphathelene nabomakhelwane eSouth Africa naseMozambique. Nalapho lesivumelwano salabo 72 hours ukuthi i-test yakho yaka-COVID ifuna ibanganeno kwa 72 hours. Sendiwe nemave lamanengi nasetindizeni nangabe uyahamba ngendiza sebafuna ukuthi ube naso le certificate.
The minister says there are laboratories that conduct these tests not just anywhere to ensure authenticity. For essential travel, she says they will continue the same way they have been doing. She emphasizes on the PCI gold standard test, which guarantees the needed certificate. Travelers will continue using the port of entry, which is the Ngwenya border post, Mahamba, Lavumisa, Mananga, Matamo, King Mswati III and Matsapa International Airport. The cost of the RT-PCR test is 850 emalangeni. The minister says those who will be found to be having the COVID-19 symptoms will not be allowed to exit the country and testing will be done at their own cost. I am Kian Msibi, Mbabane.
The Minister for Home Affairs, Princess Lindiwe, on Wednesday visited the Shiselweni region for an inspection exercise at the Mahamba border post. The minister says the inspection is to make certain that when the government releases a statement that speaks to the reopening of border gates in the country, the border posts are found ready.
reopening of border gates in South Africa. The Minister for Home Affairs, Princess Lindiwe, says it is true that reopening border gates in the country may result in the increase of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Minister says it is for this reason that she is visiting the border gate today to ascertain readiness should the government announce that the border gates be reopened.
Immigration balungele bengidobuka lokho nje bekunene ukuthi vele balungele yini ngokuthi nabefika abantu labanye bakhanje ukuthi bayatawuserviseka kahle ngaphandle kwenkingi.
The Minister for Home Affairs urged the members of the public to cooperate with the stipulated measures from the government by not crossing to neighboring countries without valid reasons. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, Sifiso Ngumalo with Muva Shongwe, Mahamba Border Post.
The Minister for Tinkhundla, David Ngamphalala, and the Eswatini Water and Agricultural Development Enterprise, Eswade, on Wednesday held an awareness creation meeting with Tinkhundla councillors about the implementation of the Mbageni Dam construction.
The Shiselweni region is one that is hit and affected by drought, which has had a substantial impact on the local economy and agriculture. The Minister for Tinkhundla, who is also the Member of Parliament of the Sikwe constituency, David Ngamphalala, urges the communities under Hosea constituency and Sikwe constituency to give their full and effective support to Eswade in the implementation of the Mbageni Dam construction. Ngamphalala says, as His Majesty King Mswati III highlighted in one of his speeches, that the Shiselweni region is behind in water development. This project does not only bring water development, but it also honors the king.
Nabo babethi khulu ukuthi kungendeki lokho ngoba nawo umsebenzi sovele wethuliwe nakubo ngayitolo namhla sowethula kulamabandla labuya kubona labuye enkundleni.
The social facilitation manager at Eswade, Patronella Mamba, says one of the key areas of the meeting is deliberating the identification of potential homesteads and farms that will have to be relocated. Mamba says decisions will be made through consultation with the traditional leadership of the affected homesteads.
Kuthi nabo batosibona kahle lesithombe bakhone nekubona umsebenzi ukuthi sibambisana njani sesikuleta indlungulu dabo letitsinzekayo.
The implementation of the Mbageni Dam construction will bring development to the Shiselweni region as the road that leads to the site where the dam will be constructed will be tarred. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, Sifiso Ngumalo with Muva Shongwe, Hlangano Kasini.
The Minister for Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Moses Vilagati, says the tourism industry unites people of different nationalities and revives the economies of countries. The minister was speaking at Wendy's Lodge in Spofaneni when Eswatini celebrated the World Tourism Day.
The 27th of September marks the World Tourism Day, and the theme is tourism and rural development. On Wednesday, Eswatini celebrated this day at Wendy's Lodge under Spofaneni constituency. The Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Moses Vilagati, revealed the importance of celebrating tourism.
For us, it's a day which symbolizes the unity throughout the whole world. And it's a very, very critical day, therefore, for all of us. We're meeting here on this historic day to demonstrate to all out there that tourism can unite people. And we see that tourism transforms the country. We're at Wendy's Lodge, the place to be. We've seen what it can do, what it has changed, how it has changed this place. Those of us who spent quite a bit of time around this place during our younger years were amazed that it has changed like this.
The community headman at Ngamphalala says they are grateful to have this celebration done at their chiefdom.
nangabe kusibona abantu lebasebentela inkosi befika lapha besingabheka ukuthi bangehle baqhamuke.
Wendy's Lodge owner Zweli Gameze says they highly appreciate to be celebrating the World Tourism Day at Wendy's Lodge.
Yesilaze abantu bangephandle babuye basitrainele bona batraineke namuhla bamatima kakhulu in the hospitality industry bayahlonishwa bayade ukuthi abantu banakwa kanjani bendiwa kanjani sibaqashile babe angisho ukuthi lonke elikhulu lelikhona la nzaweni lesilisebenzisako lesibasa ngalo la ngekhaya sithatha kubantu benzako.
The Ministry of Tourism urges Amaswati to explore attraction sites and leisure places through the Vakasha Eswatini campaign to boost the economy of the country. Reporting for Eswatini TV News is Tembeli Hlemagoja with Temba Shabang to Wendy's Lodge.
The Minister of Justice, Polile Shakantu, says it is important for all Eswatini citizens to have equal opportunities and for the kingdom to eradicate discrimination against women and girls, as empowering women will help in economic growth and the development of the country. The minister was speaking during the 3rd Annual Women's Convention that was held at the Happy Valley Hotel in Zulwini.
The Women and Law Eswatini, in collaboration with the European Union and other organizations, took part in the Women Convention 2020, whereby they addressed issues that affected women in the country and ways they can overcome them. The Minister of Justice, Polile Shakantu, says the justice system has a huge role to play in improving the participation of women in different areas of life and also ensuring that both men and women have access to equal protection by the law.
We will recall that during the last elections, a high number of women in the country were not voted for. To address these issues, Women in Law and the European Union saw it important for women in the country to come together and talk about why this is so, and also create a better environment for women. We are mostly addressing issues to better understand and also improve women involvement in the different sectors that we have in the country.
The Women and Law Director in the country, Zanele Tabete, says it is important for women to encourage each other, and it is great to see women in the kingdom being part of activities that will improve the kingdom of Eswatini.
Sinaye boke tikhulumthetho leti tawukhona ukuthi tisitshele kabanti ngekuthi bona epholini ijeni yabo ihambe njani kwende kanjani eniyini tintfo labangakhutsata labanye bomake ukuthi batingenele ukuze bakhone ukuthi babe baholi labocotho evela.
The Ministry of Justice is in the process of amending all family law bills so that they are in conformity with the Constitution. The Elections and Boundaries Commission will soon be embarking on an exercise to review all election laws. For Eswatini TV News, I am Temalangen Dlamini with Mozim Konda, Zulwini.
We will now take a look at the COVID-19 updates from the Ministry of Health. 20 people tested positive for COVID-19 in the kingdom in the last 24 hours, bringing the number of confirmed cases to 5,482. There are 441 active cases, while 4,912 people have recovered from COVID-19 in the kingdom. The kingdom has recorded 109 COVID-19 deaths. Today, a 58-year-old man from the Manzini region succumbed to COVID-19. Looking at the cumulative confirmed COVID-19 cases by region, the Manzini region has recorded 2,485 COVID-19 cases. Our region has 2,066 cases. Shiselweni region has 470 cases, while the Lubombo region has 461 cases of coronavirus. Let's continue with the news. Some Ministry of Agriculture employees have informed the Public Accounts Committee that they no longer have work because some of their duties are often exercised by soldiers. The employees have informed the PAC that they suspect that this was done to avoid paying them overtime, among other things.
The issue of the Ministry of Agriculture officers has been brought to Parliament by Public Accounts Committee Chairman Phila Buthelezi when the Ministry and the Defence appeared before the committee. Buthelezi says the work includes that of operating heavy plant machinery. Suspicions are that the soldiers who operate the machinery are paid overtime. This has been disputed by the ministry and the defense force.
Lesikhalo lesikhulu che akusiko konke lokho sekumanage kubo. Sikhalo lesikhulu kakhulu laba sikhalela kulabe kungene ngile overtime. Kuthi nangamane kuye ngoma. Nala masotsha nasi investigator but they can confirm nabo bathi abayithole overtime.
Amasotsha nathi side overtime. Ngingakuphakamisa ngaba kuthi lisotsha lesesihlalweni ikhona lelafakwa kona lisethi i-discipline. Lapha lomunye angathi mase anikwa lowo msebenzi awubuke yena athi nje sekushaya 4:30 ngabe ngisaqhubeka nalokho. Kepha-ke lisotsha lisebenze litrainwe vele lona kusebenza 24 hours.
Members of the Public Accounts Committee then made their contributions on the matter.
Yathi umbutho nabakise awuyithola overtime. Nasigcina la umbutho wathi akasi awe kahle ngale matter ucela ku-investigate. Kungaba kunika nje ukuthi ubeke lokuthi investigate watholani, and we do appreciate loku assist nangabe senoma emergencies.
Due to the nature le discipline ngayo nandlela ephusha ngayo ayiboni sho sikhathi bengicabanga nje ukuthi ngabe ingasi protect ayimpi la kuma department lacelawo in terms of manpower nangabe kunesidingo sokuthi assist.
Defense officers present in Parliament stated that they could not respond to suggestions that the army assist the country in finishing stalling public works, as it seems ready and capable to assist the country in all possible ways. For Eswatini TV News, Temgos Mavimbela, Parliament.
The Public Accounts Committee in Parliament wants to recommend that people who will be found to have misused public funds be suspended from work. The PAC made these sentiments when discussing the audit reports for the Ministry of Health.
Today being Wednesday, the Ministry of Health appeared before the Public Accounts Committee to answer to reports that 29 million emalangeni has been spent in fixing or doing works at the Lubombo Referral Hospital. The PAC is not happy with the procedure and the Ministry of Public Works and Transport being sidelined in doing all the works.
Vele amatiko nje kulokuningi sekaya bayatendela nje kanti phela kunebantu baqashiwe banalo lwati le tiko letemsebenzi emkhulu.
Ngine concern mina chairperson la ekuthini naye works there are times lapho khona kuthiwa this is an emergency, everyone must stand up abe alert ukuthi kwentekani. The fact ukuthi ihealth yaba involve lapha ekuqaleni, why did they all bona basi sit back babheke ukuthi sonke isikhathi batawubitwa ukuthi akwendwe ukuthi la this is business unusual.
Manje kubhlungu la sothi nakuboshwa umuntu akususpendwa umuntu sicela nokukhonkoza nje nathi ama agencies onke la khona bawaphakula ACC maphoyisa.
Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Simon Zwane, says this was a genuine mistake, but he is ready to take the fall should the PAC find fault in anything.
Controlling officer welitiko letempilo konke lokungahambi kahle I am accountable for. There's never been a time or a day where I intentionally go out to work to make mistakes, to commit government.
PAC Chairperson Philip Telezi says maybe it is about time the PAC recommends that public officials be sent home or be fired for the misuse of public funds. For Eswatini TV News, Temgos Mavimbela with Bongosi Kumetse, Parliament.
And in today's sports news, Minister for Sports Harris Bulunga says tournaments like the Eswatini Building Society Tennis Tournament play a pivotal role in the development of the sport in the country. The minister was speaking when launching this year's Juniors Tournament in Mbabane.
Swaziland Building Society continues its objective to develop tennis in the country. For yet another specific occasion, the society has injected a sponsorship worth 170,000 emalangeni to the Building Society junior tournaments. The Minister for Sports, Haris Bulunga, who was present during the launch, said that the tournaments like Building Society junior tournaments play a major role in ensuring that the future of the junior stars at the international stage is indeed bright.
It is our hope, Madam MD and Mr. President, that one day we will see one of our own competing on such stages. Madagascar already has an athlete who is in the top 100 of the tennis circuit. So it is not something that is far-fetched. It's not a dream. It's possible. So I have no doubt that with the continued support of the SBS, the sound vision of the ENTA executive, and the guidance and support of His Majesty's government, we can achieve this goal.
Managing Director of the Building Society, Baris Banyoni, highlighted that they will continue to play a major role in the development of the tennis in the country. Maxwell Jele, who is the president of the Eswatini Tennis Association, says it is quite exciting seeing the good steps the sport is taking in the country, with of course the support of the Building Society.
SBS has come through for us at a difficult time. We therefore want to assure you that this sponsorship will be put to good use as we aim to secure the future health and well-being of this country's citizens through tennis.
Within the package of 170,000 emarangeni, 120,000 will go to junior tournaments, while 50,000 emarangeni will ensure the good maintenance of the National Tennis Center at Dobamba. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msonera, Mbabane.
We've come to the end of our news bulletin, but before we wrap up, let's take a quick recap of the headlines. The Prime Minister Ambrose Dlamini says government's goal is to uplift the economy and create an enabling environment for businesses to thrive. The Imbali regiment from the Shiselweni region smiled from ear to ear when their majesties presented them with meat hampers. The Ministry of Health has outlined the COVID-19 travel guidelines for those exiting and entering into the kingdom. Eswatini, that is all the news we had for you tonight. Up next is the weather forecast. Good night and God bless.